Now let's switch gears and pick on Canada for a little while because we haven't picked on Canada in a long time, specifically Toronto, okay? Because Toronto has seen a massive housing crash, and it's kind of a preview of what's going to happen to all the overheated cities here in the United States. And we've already been seeing it happen in a lot of places in Florida, in Texas, and in Arizona, Georgia. A lot of the Sun Belt states have been seeing major corrections slash crashes in real estate. But in Toronto, home prices have come down so much there that the average home price has now fallen to levels that we last saw in February of 2021. Also, 3% of the current listings for sale in Toronto are power of sale properties, and the unemployment in the region has climbed to 9%, which is the highest that Toronto has seen in the last 12 years. Now, if you look at this chart here, they're using the average home price, not the median home price, but the red line is just the regular average home price, and the gray line is the adjusted average, okay? And what you can see is home prices now definitely are back to 2021 levels, and if it stays going like this, Toronto could easily see home prices come back down to 2020, 2019 levels, which would be amazing for people who live there that haven't been able to afford a home, but it's still going to be very expensive. Average home prices in Toronto are now more than 20% below their February 2022 peak. And after adjusting for inflation, the average prices have fallen even further back to 2017 levels. So this is actually really great news for anybody who lives in the greater Toronto area that has been patient and waiting to buy a home, because this market is like all the US markets on steroids, and it shows you the consequences of the aftermath. On the supply side of things, inventory in Toronto is near record highs, and the sales to new listings ratio sits at 37%, which puts Toronto firmly in a buyer's market. And going back to those power of sale listings, yeah, 3% of the listings in Toronto are power of sale. It's basically Canada's version of a foreclosure, although the lender doesn't even need to transfer the ownership to the lender. They just outright sell it from underneath you to get the cash. They skip a step. They can foreclose on you even faster over there. These power of sale listings have nearly doubled in just 1 year, from 400 last year to about 800 now. And we're going to be facing the same thing here in the US, guys, because in Canada, they have a weak job market, just like we do. They also have growing unemployment in Toronto, which is much worse than our national average here at 4.3%. They're facing 9% over there, more than double. So it's not looking good. So you don't have a lot of people who can actually afford to buy, even though the prices have come down significantly over there. And that might not be great for anybody who paid FOMO prices during the pandemic, but it's absolutely great news for people who have been complaining that they cannot afford the area for a very long time. So it'll be interesting to see how much further the Toronto market is going to fall, because it looks like, just like many places here in the US, that things are just getting started. Yeah, prices have been coming down for a couple years now, but there's no economic sign that there's going to be some miraculous recovery anytime soon. That's what people need to look at. Like, it's one thing to see prices coming down in any given area, but you got to look at these factors as well. What's the unemployment rate like? How's the local economy doing? What's the jobs numbers like in this area? And that'll start giving you a pretty clear picture on if that trend's going to reverse anytime soon or it's going to continue to get worse. My guess is in Toronto, things are going to continue getting worse before they get better. Maybe even see home prices crash 30 to 50% in the area. It's already over 20. Why can't it get to 30? Why can't it get to 40? You know, what's stopping it? But please, guys, do yourself a favor. If you want to buy a house that's been renovated, you're buying any type of a flip, make sure you dig into it. Make sure you get a seller's disclosure. Make sure you find out if there are any open permits and the proper permits were pulled on that property when they were renovating it, to make sure you're not getting yourself into a giant mess. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.